This story begins in 1974. That's me, in Bethells, a tiny rural community on the west coast of New Zealand. Nature herself was my first childhood friend, and the bond I forged would lead me to start 3 climate tech companies. 49 years later, anomalously warm water powered New Zealand's first Category 3 cyclone through Bethells, leaving my childhood friend with many scars. The damage was permanent, and even today, residents are still clearing up. Our strongest lever to slow climate change immediately is methane. It's 84 times more warming than carbon dioxide, growing at a parabolic rate, and yet little has been done about it. By 2032, our biggest storehouse of methane will be landfills. See, Cyclone Gabrielle didn't just change my homeland, it changed me as I set about establishing CH4 Capital, because now it was personal. So how do you make mitigating methane from landfills profitable? Well, where possible, the best solution is to purify that landfill gas, send it to a generator to create electricity, because that removes almost 100% of the methane emissions. You're turning pollution into an asset. The problem is, for many landfills, you cannot sell that power back to the grid. The grid upgrade either costs too much or government policy prevents it. I asked Nuno Barbosa, who's been doing landfill power generation for 20 years, how many landfills have no option to sell power back to the grid globally? 50%. I asked another question. Well, what if those landfills had an on-site customer? He said that would change everything. So who could that on-site customer be? I mean, landfills are not popular places to set up a business. Why would anyone invest millions in power generation unless electricity is most of your running costs? Well, we found one user where electricity was 80% of their running costs, and they loved the idea of setting up on a landfill: Bitcoin mining companies. Yes, in a twist worthy of a John le Carré novel, what I thought was the villain turned out to be the good guy. Unless we make methane mitigation profitable, the amount of methane reduction our planet needs won't happen, and our climate efforts will be in vain. Bitcoin mining can make methane mitigation profitable for half the world's landfills. Landfill owners want to do it. Bitcoin mining companies want to do it. They're just lacking the marriage celebrant in the middle to finance them. Well, that's us. Now, for context, this is the world's largest ever direct air capture project. It mitigates 4,000 tons of carbon dioxide equivalents per year. Our first fund will mitigate 4 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalents per year. That's 1,000 times as much every year. And through subsequent funds, by 2030, we can offset the emissions of Scandinavia. And commercially, it seems the world has now reached the point where doing the right thing makes more commercial sense than not, thank goodness. I regularly ask myself, why me? There are people with more experience, better connected. But then I remember this, the way it was. And perhaps it's that memory and the conviction I feel because of it that's now inspired 3 global leaders in their field to join our team. As a child, tucked up in my bed in Bethells, one of my favourite stories Mum would read was The Lorax. There's a line in there that goes, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not." The you he is talking about is the you I'm talking about. It's you, the one listening to this story. If you want to help, reach out. We're ready. And so is the planet.